Here's a thought experiment. Walk into a forest right now with nothing. No tools, no shoes, no help. And try to catch a deer. You won't. It's not close. A deer can hit 35 miles an hour. You can't. It hears you 100 yards out. It smells you before that. And that's the problem sitting underneath all of human evolution. Because as a predator, we are genuinely pathetic. No claws. Our teeth are flat and useless for killing. We're slow over short distances. We can't see in the dark. Our sense of smell is a joke compared to almost any animal we've ever hunted. And yet, for roughly 2 million years, we ate meat. Not occasionally, constantly, on every continent, in forests, on tundra, in deserts, on coastlines. So how? You've probably heard the answer. Persistence hunting. Barefoot ancestors jogging across a baking savanna, chasing an antelope for hours until it collapses from heat stroke. It's a great story, and it's real. It's also far too small to explain what actually happened. 3 things. Why the running story is only a fragment. What the oldest weapons on Earth quietly reveal, and the skill underneath all of it, which isn't physical at all. Start with what's true because it's remarkable. Humans are built strangely. We have long, springy tendons, huge glute muscles, a spring-loaded arch in the foot, a neck ligament that stabilizes the head while we bounce. None of these make sense for walking. All of them make sense for running long distances. And then there's the sweat. Most mammals cool themselves by panting, and an animal cannot pant properly while galloping. We cool by sweating across bare skin, which means we can shed heat while still moving. So the theory goes, pick an animal and simply refuse to stop. It sprints away. You walk. You find it. It sprints again, but it's overheating. 2 hours later, it can't sprint anymore. It stands there, cooking from the inside, and you walk up to it. Here's the part most videos leave out. Researchers went back through the ethnographic and historical record and compiled hundreds of documented endurance pursuit hunts, 425 of them from all over the world. And roughly 40% of those hunts didn't happen on hot open plains at all. They happened in forest, in taiga, in rainforest. Hunters in Borneo, hunters in Newfoundland, native Hawaiians jog-trotting after goats over rock. Which breaks the simple version. If heat and open ground were the mechanism, none of that should work. So something else was doing the heavy lifting. And to find it, you have to look at the oldest hunting weapons ever recovered. In the 1990s, in an open-pit coal mine in Schöningen, Germany, archaeologists found something that should not have survived. Wood. Wooden spears. 9 of them, plus a lance and 6 double-pointed throwing sticks, preserved in waterlogged sediment for hundreds of thousands of years. The most complete Paleolithic hunting weapons ever found anywhere on Earth. And they're not crude. They're shaped like javelins, thickest a third of the way from the front, exactly where a modern javelin is weighted. Someone understood aerodynamics before anyone had a word for it. For years, they were dated to around 400,000 years old. In 2025, a team redated them using amino acids locked inside tiny snail shells buried in the exact same layer. The answer came back about 200,000 years, 100,000 years younger than we thought. And that shift matters because it drops the spears into a period that shows something else across multiple sites. A move toward communal hunting, groups, coordination, planning, which reframes the whole find. The breakthrough wasn't the spear. Around those spears were the remains of dozens of horses, an entire herd taken at a lake shore. You do not do that alone. The spear is just the last 4 seconds of something that took hours to set up. So what happened in those hours? This is where hunting stops being about the body, because in almost every real hunt, there is a long stretch where the animal is completely invisible. It's gone, over a ridge, into the trees, hours ahead. And you are standing in dirt, looking at marks. Now watch what a tracker actually does with those marks. Depth of the print tells you weight. Spacing tells you speed. Sharpness of the edges tells you how long ago. Which hoof is dragging tells you if it's injured. A cluster of prints turning back tells you it stopped to look behind, which tells you it was afraid. From scratches in the ground, a tracker builds an animal, its size, its condition, its state of mind. And then, the crucial part, projects it forward. Where will this thing be in 4 hours? Sit with that, because it's not a wilderness skill, it's a mental one. You are constructing a detailed model of something you cannot see from indirect evidence and using it to make a testable prediction about the future. If you're right, the animal is there. If you're wrong, it isn't. The world tells you immediately.
That is a hypothesis. That is arguably the oldest form of science anyone has ever practiced, invented not in a library, but by someone hungry, staring at dirt, hundreds of thousands of years before writing. Our ancestors didn't chase prey, they predicted it. And once you can predict an animal, you stop needing to be fast at all. Because prediction scales in a way that speed never can. If you know where a herd will move, you don't have to catch it. You wait where it's going. You put people on both sides of a narrow valley. You use a cliff, a river crossing, a bog where hooves sink and yours don't. Later, people built structures for exactly this. Enormous stone funnels across desert landscapes, walls running for kilometers, narrowing into a pit. The animals never see the trap, because from ground level, it isn't visible. It's only obvious from the air. Which means someone designed it from a mental image they had never actually seen. And here's where it links back to everything else about us. To do this, you need more than prediction. You need to hand the prediction to someone else. You need to say, it's limping, it's heading for water, go left, wait, don't move until I do. You need technology, and you need other people who will hold their position on nothing but your word. That's the actual weapon, not the spear. A shared model of an invisible animal, held simultaneously in 8 different heads. So, how did ancient humans catch their prey? Not with claws, because we don't have any. Not purely by running, because 40% of those hunts happened where running should not have worked. Not with the spear, because the spear was only the last 4 seconds of a much longer act. They did it by reading marks in the dirt, building an animal that wasn't there, predicting where it would go, telling each other, and arriving first. And you still run that software. Every time you hear a car you can't see and know it's coming fast. Every time you read a room in half a second. Every time you finish someone's sentence before they do. It's the same machinery, it just isn't hungry anymore.